Well, good morning. This is a surprise. Well, you'll be hearing Hoppy, the dog, in the background, perhaps, but we thought we'd do a tabletop conversation this morning. We're sitting in the garden, just finishing up our breakfast.
In this small temple space that we've had here
Oh, I love
for
it.
years.
Yeah,
But it's arranged so differently this year. And we have two nice glass top tables plus our swing
yeah.
in here. And then
Oh,
it leads
clunk.
right into the tree garden.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Oakum.
We have the swing and the tables and the dog and us. And welcome. Thank you for joining us for this
And we're right
surprise
here in the middle of the
tabletop
garden.
conversation. We didn't even know we were going to do it, but
Oh no, but it's just unbelievably
it's just
beautiful
time to talk
morning.
about it. Talk about being, sitting into your space and breathing it in. And ours is inside the middle of a garden, and it's just as sweet. I might have to take our
puppy.
our little puppy inside so you can hear our conversation. Let's see.
We're having breakfast.
He just wants another bite of something. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's a good talker. So, but we have been very active creatively this spring and summer.
This is a wonderful space to paint in. We have
Yeah.
two large, beautiful tables.
Yeah, these glass top tables are the size of like what would be a card table.
Uh-huh.
So good size.
Oh,
I
puppy.
am going to just, pardon me for a moment, talk amongst yourselves. Say hello to everyone.
I
I'll be
will.
right back.
We'll let him come back out when we're done.
Yeah.
It's so wonderful to have him. We have him part of every week. We share him between our families. So he goes between this house was his home, and I mean when he was a baby, and then the blue house is just the next street over, but we can see the blue house from our backyard. And so he moves from the blue
Thank you, Sandra.
house, which is his family, his mommy and daddy, and then he comes here for about 3 days a week, and he's with us, and we so
A 3-night sleepover.
yeah, and it's such a treasure, and we really never take it for granted. And he is such a very big joy in our life. And
I think a couple
when
weeks
we all
ago.
used to live here, he was everybody's puppy.
Yeah.
So when the family got their own space, but it's just practically in our backyard, which was so needed because we had 12 people in this house. Is kind of a lot, and it really worked out perfect. We can
It
still
did.
walk over, and they can walk over here, and the kids can too, and little puppy goes back and forth. So
It's kind of nice to talk about him because I think it was like this past week or maybe the week before was like Dog Appreciation Day worldwide. And I think one of the actors, I forget who it was talking about don't forget to take your dog to work today.
oh, that
So
was so cute.
people do love their animals.
Oh, we're
Yeah.
so grateful
Yeah.
for them and what they give to us.
You know, they're so
It's
much a
immense.
part of the overall realm of Gaia. She
I
just
know.
includes everybody, doesn't she?
And in the creative life, for Robert and I, we're always journeying through a passage. Our work is about those passages, those inner passages, and how to create pathways to easily access what we need. And that's what the patterns are about, and why we not only do them for ourselves, but we do them. We put them on our site, and we post them all the time, and we put them into the mycelial system for the whole planet. And
Yeah. We do.
and he
our-
helps us.
Yeah, he does.
He helps us immensely. He helps us with the energy, and he sleeps with Robert and I when he comes, and it's really a different rhythm when he's there, but it's so wonderful. We feel so nurtured by it.
Yeah.
And he is really nurtured by us too. And we were out here yesterday. I was swinging in between. That's just really helped me with the rhythm.
does help,
in between
doesn't it?
creating is
Yeah.
the swing. And
Because
so
when
he
you're
gets up in
painting,
the swing with me.
People don't realize. I think that when someone's painting, that they're pretty well not locked into position, but you're so focused for such an extended period of time that when you can step back and kind of stretch and fortunately for us, we have the swing. Then it just helps with the overall body movement, and it just kind of expands your reach a little more comfortably. So
Yeah, it's
um,
really, this garden is definitely a healing garden, and I think that's what we definitely started out with. This house was pretty rough when we moved in,
mm-hmm,
and it's taken us, and it's really this year that it's become so
kind of come into its own.
complete inside and outside for us.
Yeah.
And we really, when you come out the back door, we got a red fence all the way around, and we did that last year. And the calmness that that created for us, and the feeling of privacy and protection is immense. The red fence is a fence of protection, and we've always had one. We even had it in, in
Celtically
Georgia.
speaking, it's a hedgerow.
It's a hedgerow.
Yeah, it really is.
And when you're
And it
working
helps.
creatively, if it's just your yard and you just go out and have picnics, but if you're in it and working creatively, it's really you're kind of open and vulnerable, and
Yeah.
it's really wonderful to have something like a hedgerow that kind of surrounds you while you're in your most vulnerable states of creation. And it just feels fabulous this year.
It does. It's wonderful.
It does, and we have different places. It's not like you just come in, it's an open wide space. It's not. It's like small passages. So we have 5 or 6 different gardens, and
Yeah.
and we have a large red tent that we all gather in, and it's so beautiful. We've built in seating and things like
a
platform.
nice seating platform.
It's wonderful. And then we get together once a week with our family. Our family that's lived with us for at least 9 years. They come over here from the blue house. They came over to the red house, usually Tuesdays. And we all gather, and we sit in the garden, and we all talk, and we all share everything. And now that Ethan and Daniel have their own apartment, it's right in town, but they get together, and the mother there, Susanna, gets to ask them all the questions she wants to ask, make sure they're doing okay. And she usually takes them grocery shopping after we eat. And when
It's
they
nice
go
rhythm.
home, it's a nice rhythm. But it's plenty of room. We have the big tent. If it's cooler, and if it's it's a nice gathering protection. And if we're out in the evening, and it kind of keeps all the mosquitoes and stuff. And then then there's right outside the back door, there's a big garden that has a whole combination of perennials and herbs.
We're taking you on a verbal, visual garden tour. I love this.
And then down at towards the middle, like 2/3, is the temple, which we gradually kind of set it up, but it's like we use everything from everything. So at one point it was in the back of the garden, and we used it for classes.
The tent area,
The tented areas, classes. And then when the tent fell apart,
Which they do after a while.
Yeah, the bones of it, which was all metal and really cool looking, we just took the bones and moved it over out of that space over to here and helped create the temple space.
Yeah.
And it was really weird when we were moving it. It was this awesome sound, like wheels. When we were moving all that metal and over to here. It sounded like wheels, and it kind of all of us looked at each other, and it kind of took our breath away. And then that now creates temple space that leads into the Oldham garden, which is the tree garden. And there we have a small, it's a very much more wildflowers, as mayaples and trillium, and then there's and then we have the center of it, a neat table we converted with Marissa, our garden zucchini. And the birds, feeder there, and the birds just come, because we have big sticks in this garden that go up above the fence, and they love to get on the sticks and then come down to the temple table of Marissa.
Yeah.
And feed, get their
get to
I
see
just
them
now
in-
saw my glasses.
Where are they?
They're on the bird feeder.
Oh, hanging from the.
I-
Well, we want to thank you for attending this class so
Oh.
that we can get to this moment. I shall go retrieve
we
your
were looking
glasses.
for it for
Oh,
days.
that's hilarious.
But we have the moon bath right there. We just now set it up because in the first part of the spring, it's full of May apples, and we don't want to hurt them. And then at the end, when they start going down, then we put, it's just right when it gets hot. It's a trough that we kind of deep, and we fill it with water, and it's moon water. And then
Right.
when it gets really hot, we can get in it and cool out.
I just want to let you and our audience know that since it rained last night, your glasses are clean.
And in that garden is seating, a swing and seats. Sandra's swing is in there, and she loves to curl in there. And Suzanne and Christina have big chairs in there that we can all kind of snuggle into. And then we have the swing that's inside the temple. And then over past that, behind the house, is a little cafe. We call it the Morning Glory Cafe.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we actually keep the greenhouses in the back of it, that we raise all of our seedlings. And then we have a big table with an umbrella, which we love to gather at and have supper or breakfast or things in the daytime. And any kind of conversations. There's about 6 people that can sit comfortably there. And then next to it is the yoga, what do we call that? It's a platform that Robert built specifically.
About 12 by 12
I'd
platform.
asked you specifically for yoga. And so it's like a meditation tent, and it doesn't have a tent anymore. It has the remains of a tent, which is really exotic.
Again,
I
a
love
framework,
that.
but no canopy.
But
Well-
it's really wonderful, and I like it without the canopy because I can see the stars at night, and in the daytime we can see all the trees and the sun while you're doing your practice. And some people do yoga, some people do qigong, some people do body work in that platform. It's just really lovely. And then you come down out of it, and there's a little seating space, and then there's the rest of the tables in the garden, and it's just it's exotic. It's kind of
But it has taken years and years and years.
we're such gypsies.
Yeah, we love the
Yeah.
kind of the thing. We must have been Bedouins at one time.
Yes,
Some
definitely.
past
And then
life.
there's the Rose Cottage, which we this year have taken a long time to develop it into a really working studio, and that is awesome for us to just be able to walk down the behind the house there to the Rose Cottage. And then on the other side of the house, beautiful gardens and a swing, and actually a space where we can actually Robert has his tools, and you can actually work on a project
Yep.
in it's a little building that we love. So we're just sitting out
That's a
here
good
enjoying
tour.
it. The Senate geraniums are huge this year. We put those in the basement. We brought them up, and they're just awesome. And the clematis are all blooming now, and they're just beautiful.
And I love how you've done this, because with this tabletop conversation, we've started out with our hellos and our little barking, and then into the atmosphere and the environment that we're in. So you get a picture of what we've created, and also it leads into
do
our
our artwork
creativity. So here we are sitting in the little temple area, not so little,
But we bought these tables
with
out.
these glass top tables, and here we can paint outside. We've got the breeze, we've got the sun. As we're coming into summer and it gets hotter and hotter,
So we have lots
the
of
moon
umbrellas.
bath to step into, and boy, does that cool you off. And you can go, it doesn't matter how hot it gets. You get in there, and then the breeze comes along, and you're air conditioned
For the
for
rest of the
hours
day.
on end.
Yeah.
So, but
And then the the table and the chairs, you can be sopping wet and sit at
yep,
them.
yep.
And so you can go back and forth, and because there's a lot of heat and creativity, and so you need to be able to balance your body waters and your skin and your temperature, and then the other thing is that you can be grounded with Gaia. You
Yeah.
have your feet. We have a wood deck platform here, but that's very grounded.
That's
in
very
Gaia.
grounded. And so as we go into the creativity and working this year with our what's going to be a virtual show, unless something else appears on the horizon that we don't know about, which happens a lot, um, then we are deep into it right now. I think we've done like 10 canvases. We're in different stages of process with them, most of them completed. And we have many more in the wings to do.
Yeah.
And we're so excited
great
about
big
it.
black
But
box
what
gonna
we're
work great.
doing with our work, both online, which don't forget to check out situlacodex.com. It's SITULACODEX, all one word, lowercase, situlacodex.com. And there is a plethora of information, and from books to audios to
And we do the long spoon
videos
once a month.
to everything. Yeah, and we do. There is a membership area that's a curated area. It's only $10 a month, and there is a ton of material and information and books and
To feed you.
collages
Feed
with
your creative spirit and
conversation.
your soul.
It will feed you very much.
Yeah,
and then
it's fun and funny and very informative.
And then with the work that we're doing, I realized it was last week or week before, they said, we are dream bringers. This work, one of the threads, it's an alchemical process that we are inside of for ourselves and for others. And then the dream bringing aspect is bringing patterns to people that we know, because they do it for us. They assist us in advancing towards a more unfettered, more open-hearted space of love, compassion, and well-being. That is the seed essence in all of our work. And then the imprintio patterns, since that is within what we do, then when you imprint those patterns, and there's almost 700 or 800 of them, and you'll see them online. You'll see the mycelial healing imprintio patterns. Then they resonate retinally, which then is fed to the pineal, and the pineal resonates that throughout the body to begin changing perspective, helping you build and assist yourself as you move to your creative voice, a creative life, a sense of greater well-being, and that's our wish, our hope, and what we do.
Yeah, I love that. Robert.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we today are gonna start painting. We're working on the Dreamscape avatars about that, and we didn't know what they were when we started. We haven't done a body of work. Every year we used to do a whole body of work, but since the pandemic, we did more of an interior body of work.
And put a lot online in a different format.
Developed a lot of books and a lot of things.
Collages and books.
And this year is the first show we're preparing, the first body of work that we're actually painting.
Yeah.
And I'm not really so interested in trying to find a place. We always had a place to show the work.
Yeah, I'm not either.
And that was wonderful. We had the library, and we could really do
a month-long show. That was nice.
We could do we could do the whole year. We could have all the explanation and all the wonderful writing and everything that went with it, and had the big opening, and that was all fabulous.
And then had a performance art
during it, and talks, and it was fabulous. But the pandemic kind of shuffled things around, and I think actually, I really love. I think more inner, and I love being able to go deeper and deeper, and I like actually doing it virtually.
I do too. And I think there are a lot of people that they were already aware, and probably there were some that were completely involved with that. But since the pandemic, a lot of people are much, much, much more comfortable with viewing, gaining information, watching something, taking classes, all kinds of things virtually now. That happened during the pandemic. A lot of people. I know we took advantage of that time and took lots of classes on things that were of interest to us, creative
And we're still
classes,
doing that.
and
We
still
love it.
are. So, but that came about especially during the pandemic. So I think it set everyone down into their places, and then they had to kind of look around and see how they're going to work with that time.
Well,
And that's what we did with it.
We were actually watched a series out of Gaia that we just finished that was awesome. It's called
yes.
Rewired.
Rewired by
And-
Dr. Joe Dispenza.
But as we watched it all the way through, it's like, I don't know, 13
13
sessions,
episodes.
episodes. We started realizing how much we've lived inside of that. And how much it helped us understand what happened in the pandemic and how it was like our work almost went just
Practically invisible.
And sitting with that ourselves at a later time in my life where you just don't know if you're just going to disappear.
Yeah.
And
where you've worked so hard when you're younger and an effort to be out, quote unquote, out there, then to run into this time of our life
and then
as
go
we're older,
equally in there.
and then and go equally in there.
And we were going inside deeply all those years.
Yeah.
But it's like he talked about that, and I sat there and I said, "That's what this is." That when something really becomes
You could recognize
intensely potent, it almost disappears because it's like it becomes like a seed.
Yeah.
Like a flower blooms and everything, and then it its gestation, it becomes like a seed, and then the seed is ready to actually create more.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we've been through. And the seed is it's potent. But we have allowed it. We're not upset that we don't have a place for a show or not. We are taking that seed and putting it into a virtual kind of reality.
Exactly.
And that gives it a multiplication potential that we haven't had before.
Yeah.
And that we not only were local and we were somewhat on the internet and the inner outer, but now that's pretty much where our work is.
Yeah.
And we've developed a lot of potent areas that someone can sit into, and Sigil Codex was the first when we went to New York. We developed it when we went to New York.
Yeah.
Maybe 5 years before the pandemic. And when we went to New York, we developed Sigil Codex.
Yeah.
We needed something, we developed that. And Sigil Codex is really about us being bodies of water and the codex that we carry, and then it's really what carries our work now. Instead of taking it to the library or different places, it carries our work, and it's given us actually much more multiplicity and much more ease with creating and sharing all the different parts of development.
I know. Yeah.
So this year we've been recording all the different parts of the development of this body of work. And it's really very much about the dreamscapes, the mapping of their dream mappers.
Yeah.
And they carry the bigger dream of more galactic dream of
and in subsequent tabletops we'll go more into detail and we've been now a little bit, but more into detail on the mapping and the navigation
as we
movement.
Receive the information.
So we'll share that with you, but are there other things you would like to touch on this morning?
I want to start painting.
I know. Okay, well, we must go now. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll talk next time. Have a good and lovely day. That's right. Clarity. And here we are, and you can catch us on our YouTube channel, and don't forget to go to SigillaCodex.com. There is so much there that can help support you in your dream. Bye.